Health is a victory. Death is defeat.
Did you know that health is a victory?
I did. Oh boy, that. I love how they italicize the word against.
Gonorrhea is commie. Fred Willard, this will be dry.
Yes, Mr. Pictures produces lots of things. Good old Will. Will Pictures.
Will Pictures. What was that man's last name? Dre Ehrman?
Couldn't begin to guess.
These smokestacks are cranking out copious amounts of gonorrhea. These people are manufacturing gonorrhea. Why? Because they're immigrants and not to be trusted. Well, this is an epic...
Yeah, I was just about to say, my God, the scale of this is just... The storied and long history of gonorrhea.
Everyone is interested in good health. Everyone is interested in preserving his own health and that of his family and friends. That's why we have these meetings, to give you the facts.
Would really help if they had
The
given me
facts
a
which will help you
microphone.
to guard against illness, which may cause suffering and unhappiness for you and your family. Medical
Behind this
science
podium,
is hard
I'm
at
riddled
work,
with disease.
to prevent suffering, preserve health, prolong life. But that's only half the battle. Equally important is knowledge on the part of everyone, all of you, your families and friends.
He doesn't
of
have a
how
mic.
to use
All
what
that
the men
loud
of
music at
medicine
the
have to
beginning, and
offer.
they did not mic the
Time
doctor
and
who's
again,
giving the
science
information.
has found a strong weapon against
Is
the
it about the
disease,
emotion of it or
only
the
to have it
information?
rendered
I
useless
don't know if there's any emotion,
because
judging by
people
the
do
looks on
not
these
know
people. Those
how to
guys who are
use it.
grabbing their chins
In a
were
broad
certainly
sense,
told to grab their
this very
chins.
situation exists today. One
Yes,
of
really
the most
contemplate
prevalent
the
of all
gonorrhea.
serious diseases is still causing tremendous suffering and working widespread damage to our national health. May we have the slides, please?
That was a long introduction for
Thanks to the
fuck
microscope,
good, fuck
physicians
clean.
and other students of science have learned to recognize many of the germs which invade the body. Among the many types
This
of
is
germs
the
are
telltale
these
sign of
biscuit-shaped
gonorrhea.
invaders called
Learn to
the
recognize
coccus
it
group.
quickly.
This coccus group includes these,
Now he's going to lick the end of that
Streptococcus.
pen.
the cause of many skin and internal diseases. And these, the pneumococcus, the cause of pneumonia.
Took these off myself.
And this is the staphylococcus, which causes boils and carbuncles.
And it shakes all around with
Another
its
important
awesome
member of the
power.
coccus family is this fellow, the gonococcus, which causes vaginitis, ophthalmia neonatorum, frequently called baby's sore eyes, and gonorrhea.
Yes, old baby
the
sore
widespread
eyes.
disease with
He
which
runs
we are
the racket
concerned at this
downtown.
meeting. Lights, please. The gonococcus is a
Hey,
weakling
your dick
when
hurt?
it is on the body
It
surface
can make your dick hurt.
and can be destroyed
Come
by
on.
soap and
Your
water
dick's
and
gonna
most
hurt if you
antiseptics.
don't pay up to
But
old baby sore
Once
eyes.
entrenched in the tissues, it is stubborn.
So a mucous
and
membrane
dangerous.
looks like that.
Gonorrhea has caused more suffering than any of us would care to think about.
But let's...
Thousands
So
of
say
women
nothing
have had
of what the
serious
Germans are
operations.
doing overseas right now.
Unnumbered marriages are childless.
Have you ever
Yeah,
heard of
'cause
Unit
it's 42.
731? I
Tremendous
mean,
number
whoops.
of people are blind because this
Oh, wait, it's
disease,
1942.
a
That was...
disease which medical science can cure,
Yes.
is still the most prevalent of all serious human ailments.
Look at that.
Like many
Yes,
other diseases,
worse than
gonorrhea
cancer,
begins
worse
its
than
attack on the
death
body as
itself.
an acute inflammation. The germs gain a foothold in the mucous membrane which line the sex or urinary organs,
Whichever you use
and
them
after
for.
a few days cause swelling.
This is what swelling looks like.
tenderness, and a discharge.
He's not doing much to change his mucous membrane
The
diagram.
disease often
didn't even
spreads
draw
to
the
internal
tenderness.
parts. In a female, the organs of reproduction are
Fiddling in
frequently
his
involved,
pockets.
causing great pain and disability. The tubes through which the ovum or egg passes may become permanently
Filled with
colorless.
chalk.
If this happens,
Squeeze really,
woman
really
cannot
hard until it
become a mother.
pops out.
in the male, the same kind of damage often occurs.
His bacon strip will
Narrow
become
tube
inflamed.
through which sperm or seed passes may be permanently blocked.
We call this blocked up wiggly
This
dick
prevents the
syndrome.
man from ever becoming a father.
A common
this
side
reason,
effect of gonorrhea.
is called the great sterilizer. When the disease is allowed to go unchecked, it often attacks more remote parts of the body. The heart, the kidneys, the joints may suffer serious injury.
Especially
Gonorrhea
if you
is one
fuck
of
with
the
them.
oldest afflictions of man. For centuries, it was confused with syphilis. In 1767, John Hunter, a famous Scottish physician, actually infected himself with syphilis in a mistaken effort to prove that syphilis and gonorrhea were one and the same disease. It was not until 70 years later
Kiss him to find
that
out.
Philippe Ricord, working in Paris, demonstrated conclusively that syphilis and gonorrhea are two quite different diseases. Finally, in 1879,
Syphilis is practically a
Albert
walk in the
Neisser
park.
discovered the germ which causes gonorrhea. He was the first to see and recognize
He put
the
it on the
gonococcus
eyepiece because he didn't
as the
understand how a
cause of
microscope
gonorrhea.
worked.
The real
And his
tragedy
work
came when
opened
he
the way
got it
to
in
a
his
series of
beard.
brilliant discoveries by scientists working in research centers in many countries. They grew the gonococcus in their laboratories and produced valuable laboratory methods to aid in diagnosis.
No, she was pulling
They
those
learned how
swabs.
the disease passes from one person to another. They learned that now, as in past centuries, gonorrhea is spread to men
By
mainly
tiny,
by
tiny
infected
people.
prostitutes and by infected
Every
men
woman
Whenever a
fucks
woman
to their
three
wives
three-
and families.
It gives them
It
all
spreads
gonorrhea.
almost always by sex.
Similarly, then the men can infect other
Although
witches.
little girls may sometimes be infected from towels
Oh, and
or
when the women
clothing
fuck children,
carrying the gonococcus. One of the great gifts of science to humanity has been the discovery that a silver
oh, it's a
solution
baby.
dropped into the eyes of babies born of mothers who have gonorrhea.
Yes, you must torture a baby to see if it has
infection and
gonorrhea.
blindness.
This is still sounding like
Until
witchcraft.
recently,
I
the
mean,
treatment and cure of gonorrhea was slow.
If the baby
and
dies from
expensive.
choking on your finger, it has
Hundreds
gonorrhea.
of drugs and dozens of instruments have been used. None was satisfactory. But science, ever searching, has found new methods.
To
One
give
of these
people
is a
gonorrhea.
method which raises
centrifuges
body
and iron
temperature
lungs.
to fever level, resulting in destruction of the gonococcus. But this fever treatment is reserved for a
And I
few
cannot stress
resistant
enough,
cases.
stop drinking each other's spit.
The newest weapon is a group of chemical compounds
Dump your pills
popularly
on the
called
floor.
the sulfur drugs, which are revolutionizing the fight against the gonococcus.
It'd be funny
Today,
if they crushed them
Modern
and
treatment
snorted.
under a physician's care cures at least 8
yes.
out of 10 cases.
Yes, in the
Cures
future everyone will
and
be
stops the
white.
spread of the disease. Medical
Except
and
those
chemical
two
research
guys.
have already done wonders. But they are continuing the task of developing
C
even
is for
better
cock.
and safer methods of treatment. But though these drugs are effective, they are not without danger.
Wasting a lot of pills. to
Serious
make this
results
point.
It's the
and
same
even
pills.
death
Oh, they use
have
the same
occurred when
shot
they were
twice. I
taken
see.
without the guidance of a physician
It'd be funny if
and
every
the
single
various
time he mentions
examinations
pills, they
he
do
made
use
to
that
show
same.
for the
Yeah.
safety of his patient.
Well, they
Pour out another bottle.
They spent all the money on that music.
An infected patient must always remember that a physician is needed to cure and prevent the spread of gonorrhea.
He says it like he's a wizard.
advertised
No, now they
remedies.
have to pour out all of these
Avoid
bottles.
quacks. Don't attempt self-treatment. All are extremely dangerous.
Some of those just look like
Mere
liquor.
disappearance of symptoms does not mean that the patient is well.
Keep a ledger of your
Only
gonorrhea.
laboratory tests can finally determine that. And only a physician can be trusted to administer safe and effective treatment.
Now, Mr. Patient.
Yes, most cases of gonorrhea can be cured quickly and easily. The first thing a person who suspects gonorrhea must do is
Contact
to
the
go to
police.
his family physician. Or, if he has none, the nearest health department, hospital, or medical society will tell him where to find diagnosis
not sure,
and
ask a
treatment
librarian.
within his means. All over the United
She may have
States,
given you gonorrhea. You could
thousands
be one of her
capable
3
physicians,
guys.
hundreds of reliable clinics, and scores
That's
of
another
health
slide.
officers are finding, treating, and preventing gonococcus infection.
Now bring that baby up here.
With the cooperation of the public, the prevalence of gonorrhea can be reduced. Suffering
Diphtheria.
can be prevented. Sight can be saved. The gift of parenthood can be preserved. It
That's
is
right. We
everyone's
can
job,
eliminate the arousal and
yours
engorgement
and
of
mine,
gonorrhea.
to see that the facts about the dangers and the cure of gonorrhea are known to everyone. For
Except
when
you,
ignorance gives
simps.
way to knowledge, when furtive fear yields to confidence, when people learn to consider gonorrhea in the same light as they do other dangerous infections, then, and only then, can science be successful in the fight against this
It's
most
John
prevalent
Science.
of all serious human ailments.
God, he cares about gonorrhea like a Roman senator hated Carthage.
I know.
Gonorrhea had wronged him personally. I used to trust gonorrhea, but then I came home one day and found it sleeping with my wife.